The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Magnet McGilded. McGilded? What are you talking about, Consul? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
If I desecrate this chamber by smashing my hello chums, do forgive the discourtesy. Okay, I forgive you. Lord Vodzix. People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own. But I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. What are you trying to say there, you racist fuck? Let me explain in terms that even a student of an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. And, you know, by this point, there is precedence that they have lied about some stuff, that they weren't exactly trustworthy in what they actually said there, so there is stuff to be questioned. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that cannot be reconciled in any way. What inconsistency, Consul? The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claimed that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim. True. I mean, it could very well be possible that we're talking about a fifth person that had blood on both hands. That was actually the one sitting next to Mason. It wasn't actually McGilded, who the witnesses said that he was the one that said to Mason.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gaudy remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance. Yeah, their testimony remains unchanged. Which could mean that maybe they're not technically lying for the sake of some ulterior motive. It could be that what they witnessed may actually not be what they think it was. In comparison to what I said before about how maybe they knew of the existence of the fifth person, and they just switched their places in their testimony. I guess we shall see. Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. Cause, okay, we're also gonna have to take into account the obscured view as well. Like, you've seen it too, guys. Like, the view. You can clearly see their bodies, but you cannot really see their faces, so that can actually fool you into thinking that it was somebody else. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary. Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense's postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces. Yeah, exactly. Yes. The top of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though. Yeah, that's right. Both chins were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir. You would know it well. Like gentlemen of the fancy hats and such. Man, what a period this was. People wearing hats, like top hats, fedoras. Man, those were some times. You know, there is a video on YouTube in regards to why hats are no longer worn. And it does bring up some good points about how people have transitioned from that period of wearing hats to right now where we don't wear them as much, like fedoras and such. Like including social status. There's the weather thing, like us being able to manage temperature. There's also the internet factor, including all that. I'm gonna give a link in the video description of the video that I watched about hats and such, and it's pretty interesting. I'm afraid I don't remember. And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if they were happy, the accused, Mr. McGill, would undoubtedly have offered to depose the fact. Unless, that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed even to notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. That's right. There was another person traveling in an enclosed cabin of the animals. It's inconceivable that Mr. Gilded would have been unaware of it. Order! There is a clear, simple solution to this problem. Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand. Well, what do you say, counsel? The prosecution objects, my lord. On what grounds? As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he isn't able to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no way an educated ruffian. If it indeed turns out the man has been withholding information, he can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act. Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion? My lord. Should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify? Or not? I'd say that we should. Yeah. We need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand. In that case, I'd like to hear the opinion of the jury. Yeah, I need a little time to consider this. If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say. Get the man out of here, I say. Yeah. It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild.
Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say. Oh yeah, that would be lovely.
Okay. Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Alright, well, I guess everyone is in agreement right over here. Even the first juror right over there. His reaction was interesting there. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once. Alrighty then. No, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear. Well, I guess we shall see with McGilded right over here. Let the proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day? To be sure, I have, my lord. There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did it conceal the fact from the police? Beggar, no! 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the question, please. Like, the one thing that comes to mind is, like, the compartment, like, under the seats in the back. Like, you remember that is where Beppo puts his, carriage, omnibus repairing toolkit, like, the repairing stuff. I know that Ryonosuke said that it doesn't, like, it wouldn't really fit for humans to be inside, like it doesn't fit. Like if somebody were to hide inside, they wouldn't fit. Well, hey, you never know. Maybe we're talking about children or something like that once again, depending on the size. I guess we shall see. I mean, it's at the current state. We don't know if the tools were actually still there when the crime happened, or maybe they were put later. In which case, if the tools were not there, then you could fit somebody inside there. And such. So, like, whenever we're talking about the tools being there or not, like, that will be, like, the one and only hiding spot that I can think of. Like, even if McGilded, like, didn't know, as such. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Did I tell you all, or keep me mouth shut? Tell us what, Mr. McGilded? The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night with myself and the other man, there was another passenger. Oh my. It's true? Oh my goodness! Aye. And 'twas me who helped me little urchin get away after it all happened. The little urchin? Oh. Maybe it can very well be that there was somebody small enough to hide inside the compartment with the tools in there as well. You... What?! No. Magnus McGilded. The convenient excuse cannot save you now. I'm truly sorry. So I am, Lord Van Zix. I'm sure you'll be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you. Okay, hopefully it's not gonna be a stupid reason. Which was... I'm preparing myself for the worst here. Oh, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not in any way involved, you see. The little child. What? If the police had known the wee one was there, you never assumed she'd done it. And I've hauled her into this here courtroom, just like myself. Oh my. Like, so far we've heard nothing but bad things about McGilded. Could it be that this is the one thing that, like, the one good thing that they've shown thus far? That was thinking about himself? That he would go to extreme ends? Like, in order to save the little child from being accused of murder? I was only trying to spare her that. Or there is an ulterior motive. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord. And who was this young child of whom you speak? That... I don't know. You don't? No? Hey, well, the weird thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before, since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statements to be disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What the? Ah, smoke! Fire! There's fire! Someone's trying to get away! I can't see anything through the smoke. What the hell is going on? Oh god!
Careful, Miss Naruto. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. Oh god. Early removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. And... well, that was a sudden. Okay. It seems a chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. Phew. Now what? Like, how long is it gonna take for us to go back in there and continue the trial? I mean, unless we're gonna have like a 1-day recess, in which case we're gonna be able to have some time to investigate some more. What on earth just happening there?
Miss Naruto, I managed to find out what happened.
It's Sato.
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade. A type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of things ninjas use. Oh yeah.
I'm just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
Lo and behold, whoever is the one who threw that is a ninja. Like, something tells me that we're talking about the little girl that McGilded was talking about. Because McGilded, like, in the last seconds before the trial suspended, he was looking to his side, almost as if he was looking at the little child himself. It makes me question if that little child is the one responsible, or maybe it was McGilded who threw that smoke grenade to escape. But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why? Oh, hold on a second. You know, remember when I was talking about... Oh, could it be that McGilded was thinking about someone's safety? That they would they would be the one accused, so that the child would be saved. But nah, he was more than likely like finally confessing that there was another person, just so that McGilded himself would escape, and the little child would just be the one accused now. So because of that, that person, that child, had the reaction of, oh shit, now gonna look at me. Mr. McGilded is now gonna try and make me the accused, and he will escape scot-free. I gotta get out of here. And thus, they throw the smoke grenade.
It's a young girl of around 15, I hear.
A young girl of... No, wait, hold on a second. You couldn't be Pavlova, right? young girl? Then could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Wait, hold on a second. Then what the fuck was Pavlova doing there? Does she have like any connection with all this? Nah, it's probably somebody else. Oh, what's become of Mr. McGilded actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here.
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. Along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? What was she even doing here at the trial? She's taking a huge risk. And for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Hmm? Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night, at a fare of 5 pence each. That cost a total of 20 pence exactly.
but now it seems that there were in fact 5 passengers.
Which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
In which case, if we're talking about there being exactly 20 pences, like 20 pence, then each of them would be like 4. Like 5 passengers would have to pay up 4 pence. Or it could be that our little girl over here was hiding inside the omnibus, and Beppo didn't know about the existence of the 5th person. So there's also that. Yeah, she's right. That is strange. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed to the courtroom. The trial will commence in 5 minutes. Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, wherever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really cannot imagine what she's going to say. It could alter the whole direction of the trial.
You only know soon enough, Miss Sato.
Yes.
February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Oh God. There's a young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. You kidding me? Don't tell me that's actually Pavlova. Okay. She must have been the one who accused the disturbance before. Like, what are the chances? Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zieks. My lord. I believe we have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious! The army? What in the devil's name? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, where she was caught, and now occupies the stand. Okay. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? If I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to bolt like that. 'tis all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. We'll explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. Okay, well, now I'm really curious about this young girl. Like, a part of me thinks that, like, this can't be it. I mean, it cannot be Pavlova. Like, it'd be too much of a coincidence. Like, something tells me that this girl right over here is related to Mason. And the victim in this entire case would be, like, her father or grandfather. I guess we shall see. Somebody related to this girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then bigger, a loud thud, and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from. And bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? Well, okay. Going back to what we cross-examined before with fair play and first, like what they saw. Could it be that what they actually saw was the girl? It certainly makes me question. Because if this was the person that they actually saw, but they didn't see their face, would they truly mistake the little girl for a male, like an older male, with a top hat, like hiding their face and all that? I guess we shall see. Tis exactly as the defense counsel said. Tesla's was the fifth passenger, my lord. Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel? Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start. Alrighty then, the young girl. Like, as of now, I don't see, like, anything that pops in my head right now. Like, none of this really catches my attention as of now, so let's see. You took the back seat in the omnibus and probably nodded off. Okay, similarly to the idea that we had before. And when you first got into the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty. And there was no one on the roof deck either. I see. So, thinking about what I was asking before, maybe, like, if this girl is in any way related to Mason, the victim. Cause I don't know, based on the physique, like the hair color and all that, like the way they are dressed, it kind of makes me think that they are related in some way. Maybe they are family. And maybe if they're also poor, maybe Mason was actually hiding the little girl, just so that the little girl wouldn't have to pay the fare. You know, like, that could be a possibility. So at first Mason was hiding the little girl inside the compartment. McGilda truly did not see this girl at first. And it could be the truth that he nodded off, and when he woke up with Mason dead, he saw the little girl for the first time, I guess. You were the first passenger, as it were. I see. Aye, and that's why I took the back side, as I did. 'Tis the most corporal, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means. 'Tis how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite, the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, 'tis the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Baroque Von Zieks is being silent right over here.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain that? 'Twas like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well, now, you remember I was asleep at that time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me, and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but a fellow on the floor. I don't know, something tells me that, that the thud would actually come from the compartment, like the little girl just opened up the compartment in a loud thud and then exited to see Mason die. Maybe that was the sound that woke up Mr. McGill did. He didn't see anyone. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage but a fellow on the floor. Or it could be the opposite way around. Maybe at first the child was hidden, and then when Mr. McGill began sleeping, she exited to talk to Mason, and when the murder happened, the child went back inside, hidden in the compartment, and when she closed the compartment, that is what McGill heard. But then he also heard like a loud scream, which kind of makes me think that it was the little girl. I don't know. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Oh, from the seats above you on the roof deck. Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe that was it. I was thinking that would come from the little girl. Not above me, no my lord. Tossed from inside the cabin. Oh. Well, gee, way to play with my mind here. Am I right? But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No. I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fellow collapsed on the floor at my feet. So I sat him up on the seat across me.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? I mean, you mean to say that he was actually collapsed on the floor and you were the one who sat him up? Like that? Like the way the victim was found? That I did. On the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. Well, no wonder, I mean. Like, if somebody from, like, up on the omnibus were to see it, they will clearly see you sitting up the victim on the seat and such. They will probably think that you were the one who murdered him, even though, in truth, possibly, you may have just wanted to set him up there. You could have just left the body like itself. Oh, Jesus. Way to pin the crime on yourself more by doing that. If you are the innocent, that is. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor, would you? 'Tis common courtesy, so it is. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I find it a little hard to believe. Ara, Lord Van Zieks. What would that be? Well, are you turning Japanese on us? Ara! Awake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Yeah, that's true. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well, now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offered, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle of trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. The whys and wherefores? Righty were. There were some details I wanted to understand before. Anyone else got to memory? Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, with McGilded being seated in the back, where the compartment is, wouldn't it be difficult for the little child to get out of the compartment with McGilded sitting on that side? I don't know. I think that this is the mystery that we definitely have to solve, like who sat where and such, because this is surely going to be interesting. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thought of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from. And bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. And as far as I could see, that is. Okay, are you fucking with us here? Well, no. 'Tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if it excuse the vulgar expression, under my backside. So the scream you're talking about is basically your fart? Good gracious. Under your backside? And I led to the seat on which I'd been sitting. Around there was a wee cubby hole, there for storage. Okay.
Mr. Naruto, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yeah, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence. Okay, in which case, let's go back over here. Like, maybe we're gonna find some extra clues if we check that, the compartment ourselves. Also...
Is something wrong?
Oh, it's just... well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet Von Zix has made no mention of it.
I suppose that does seem a little strange.
Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Did I actually check that before? See, it looks reasonably soft. It's actually rather hard when you sit on it. Only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really.
Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck. So she should have been seated in here.
A woman in a kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? Kinda makes me question that blood stain on the floor there. Oh. This is a storage compartment. But there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Okay, I see. No wonder I was questioning why I didn't examine that blood stain before. Now the compartment is empty. Somebody apparently went inside right over here in the omnibus while the smoke happened, which could very well be the little child. they put like the bloodstain over there, which I feel like I don't know if that's actually real blood or anything like that. Maybe it is real blood. It's just that they hold it up like they were having like bottles of blood they just sprayed here, or it could be ketchup. I guess we shall see. But the point is, maybe they went inside over here and took all the stuff from inside the compartment and put the blood over there to change the direction of the case right over here. Something doesn't seem right here. And I cannot put my finger on what it is. Yeah, apparently Leonosuke is also feeling the same way about that in similar fashion to the bloodstain on the floor. In which case, we're definitely gonna have to... Like, I was thinking of only checking, like, the cupboard, but... God knows what else. The mysterious person did around here. Okay, pretty interesting.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
And that's when I found her. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her away stuff away.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? That's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in my chest. Ugh, you're really overreacting to this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and set her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chewback with her. The seat opposite. That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. You set this young girl next to a corpse, sir? Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in more danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. I'm not well as in the middle of talking with her. I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. And I guess in similar fashion to what I was talking about before, what Mr. First saw and what Fairplay saw before their death was Mason and this girl, like, seated there, that they were able to see them through the skylight. Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, you must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with a knife in his belt. In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGill. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason? Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands, sat at the back of the carriage on the side. It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature. Readily confused, perhaps, with this young girl. After that, of course. With the scream of the gentleman with us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you. I've heard enough. The events I explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl? Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. Excuse me? The fuck did you just say? Lestrade? She's a chancer. Earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? Well, I'll be. This girl here? A petty thief. Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Oh God! How dare you! What is the meaning of this? The girl, she's gone!
Open your eyes. I'm over here.
Oh. Good gracious. How? What was the point in that little sidestep?
I know what you lot are thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This there little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself backed in the corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on, that's what's in your heads, ain't it?
No, not at all. No, don't put words in our mouths. This is a court of law. We are here to determine the truth, not get...
Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need for what I do is these fingers.
Jesus.
I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do.
Let me guess. You don't call smoke guns among weapons for thugs. And grenades.
Oh, this? Yeah, this was in the bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, ain't it? I like the pink pest.
You don't wave that thing in my direction again. Or do I look like the smell of what you threw at me before? Smells like lavender. So, you admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question. That's alright, Les. You can tell them the truth now.
Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Gina Lestrade? She sure is quite a hoot, so far. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to.
No. I guess so. New cross-examination. What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they locked up. And the horses. Just like always. But it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in a hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then after a while, I heard this loud bang. Nearly jumped on my skin, I did. And the scream just came out. It's because of that, the swell found me. It did help me get away, mind.
Yeah, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let this strange urchin go, Mr. McGilded. Oh, this simplicity itself, milord. You see, she can't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. I see. So, going back to what I was saying before, of the possibility that maybe McGilded is gonna be pinning the crime on the little girl right over here. It doesn't sound like it right here. Like, given what McGilded is explaining over here and what Gina Lestrade is explaining over here. Because if Gina was the one who killed Mason, well, that doesn't really sound possible if Gina was hiding, like, inside the compartment, like, right under McGilded. Like, without McGilded, like, sitting up and letting Gina Lestrade get out to kill Mason. It wouldn't really be possible for for Gina to have done it in the first place, if that is what we're getting at here. In which case, well, it all goes back to you, Gilded, of you being accused of murder because of this. How? As I'm sure I said before, so. I was sitting right on top of the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. Okay. This is where I sat that night. In the cubbyhole of which you have spoken as underneath the seat, I presume? Yeah. This appeared just large enough to accommodate someone of the girl's stature. Aye. But of course, the wheel left was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Oh. So you see, that's why I led the last boat. I knew that if the police found her, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent.